Hari Om to all. We are in the 11th session of Tattvabodha written by Adi Shankaracharya. Let us take the blessings of all the gurus and our Sadguru Sri Prabhuji, and let us start with the opening prayer. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayana-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. With the blessings of Guruji, let us start today's session. And this is the continuation of what we just saw yesterday. It is just a case study here. The case study is how terminal illness can be taken up. So, before going into the questions of what Guruji has done in the talk, let us just know from each one of us that what is death according to us. Maybe not with relation to the scriptures, but what is that? How do we understand death from our perspective? What do we understand? Let us start from Jai Shri Ji.
Before, what we thought was death is the end of human life, and some believed in rebirth, and some scientifically, most of the people they don't believe that there is a rebirth. But those who are philosophically inclined, they think they believe we do have rebirth, and it has been proved in many cases. Rebirth cases are there, no, madam? Scientifically, also some of the reincarnation stories are quite true also. And another perspective is whatever we think or whatever thoughts we have while we are dying, those thoughts we have when we are born again.
So, what according to you is death? Hari Om Geeta Ji and Shweta Ji.
Maybe death is the end of that cycle.
Your voice is not audible, Jayashree madam.
End of that cycle.
Okay, thank you so much for your perspective about death. Vaishnavi Ji.
Ma'am, I think death is something that means the end of a part of a cycle. I feel it is a sort of a countdown for all of us to be mindful of what we are doing, and we always wish for even in life when we wish for all things good and best, we also wish for a good death, peaceful death. Um, so the concept of death not just evokes fear in the normal mind, but it also means that it is a clock ticking for us to get things done, and also stay in perspective of the good things that we can carry forth in the next cycle. It is, of course, we do not know the time, which is why there is always a suspense, and there is always an aura around death, as much as there is around life itself. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very true. So next is Sudhaji. Shwetaji, what is the question for all of them is that how is it that you understand death? According to your perspective, what is death?
Okay. So,
Sudhaji,
according to me, death is the only certainty in life. But normally, we don't want to remember that. And we try to keep the thoughts about death or what is death. We never want to really dwell on any of those. But then, to me, what death right now, it means that it's the end of a form. That form might be someone very close to you, might be one of your loved ones or some distant person, but it is the end of a form. And normally, we always have some kind of relationship with forms. So it can be one of bondage, it can be one of hatred, it can be one of, some professional relationship. But when the form ends, it always leaves a vacuum in your life. And if it is a very close one, then there is a lot of sorrow. So death always means something, like terrible. That is how death, the normal notion about death is to me. Of course, coming to Prabhuji, in this talk, he has explained more about that, but that is how we think about death normally.
Yes. Thank you, Sudhaji, for telling your perspective about death.
Yeah.
Shwetaji, are you ready to answer or?
Yeah. For me, begin like this is a new session. For me, it's a fear, like losing a loved one or dear one. What happens after that? How you cope up with the situation? How mentally we can be prepared by ourselves for that situation. So this is totally a new topic to understand it.
Thank you, thank you, Shwetaji. Geetaji, he joined and again, I think, got disconnected. Okay. So each one of us have our own perspective and fears about death. Just because we are listening to Guruji doesn't mean that our perspective would have changed. Death is something that everybody would fear for. Say, if at all I am not well, what is the fear that I get immediately? What happens to the kith and kin or the family members if I die? Maybe if at all I'm terribly ill or something like that. So the dependence on me, I would think of that. Oh, what would happen? It's not a normal thing that anybody can accept death so easily. So that is the evolution that we need to have. And death is always, as you all told, it is always fearful. So we will be losing something that is very dear to us. So, but we don't, rarely we think of our death. We usually think of the people around us dying about, maybe thinking about their deaths. That would be really traumatic. Maybe if they are aged and all that. And if you know that maybe in near future we might lose them, if we get that thought, imagine the emotional disturbance that we get. More so with a closed one who is no more. That is also there. So, but death is a real concept wherein we have to understand what it is. Who dies, what dies, as Sudhaji told, it is the form. That is something that is to be understood. And she brought in a very good manner. We are losing the form. So, form of what? So, that comes into picture. Form of what? Who is taking the form? Is it the incarnation? Is it the God, or what it is? So that is where we can think. Huh? Yes, Jayashree madam.
Atma is
Yes.
Soul
So
is
this,
the form.
exactly. So this thought we cannot get. Maybe if we go to a place wherein a closed one has expired, there we cannot control our emotions. So many emotions, along with the current situation, we get the other emotions also added and we feel disturbed. So that is the natural case of anybody wherein death is, the perspective of the death comes into picture. So here, why we should know about death? What is death? What is birth? That becomes very important. Even in the previous talk, he is told that it is not only the struggles, the roadblocks, and the road humps. What is that end? The destination. What Guruji says is, what is our destination? So, certainty is that death is certain. So, death is for sure it happens, but for what? For whom is the death? So, when we think of all this, maybe the intensity or the fear attached to death reduces. Maybe we can accept the death of some kith and kin when we go and see and give our last respects. Then we can accept that. Then later on we can take in our own death as natural, maybe the phase that has to go about with this particular Jivatma. So this is such a vast topic wherein you don't know about it. You don't know what happens after the death. Life after death, we don't know. But still, Jayashree ma'am told there are reincarnations. So how sure are we? Do we know that scientifically it is proven? That is what Jayashree ma'am said. Yes, taken for granted, all those, but still, can I accept my death? That is the question. What blocks me not accepting the death? What holds me back? What are all the emotions that comes into my mind when I think of I am dying now? Can we ever think of that, first of all? Are we ready to think of that? Is my mental state in such a level, at such a level that I can think of my death? My death is whose death? Is it the body's death or is it the ego's death? So here, anyway, Geeta ji joined. We'll ask her what is her perspective of death, and then come back with the questions. Geeta ji, everybody answered about their perspective of what death is. You can also tell that.
Yeah, according to my understanding in so far, ma'am, in this exploration of life, and what I understood is death is a transition period for the soul.
Is it
Death is a
from the text or the talk, or actually don't think of this Tattvabodha or Guruji's teaching? What is your perspective of death?
Yes, ma'am. My perspective of death also, it is a journey. Okay, it is a temporary, shutdown of the body to take a next birth. So it is a transition period where the soul will analyze, what has done, what has to be done, and what we have done in this present life. So all that inner inquiry will happen in the higher realm. Okay, based on that, it will again make a plan to take a rebirth depending on the situations, what the sole purpose in the next and its aims, what to do and all. So based on that, it goes. So in the view of materialistic world, in this world, the as we are attached with our relations, so it's very difficult. But those who have understood this concept, see, a this is a continuous process. There is no death as such. This is a transition. Life goes on till the soul want to explore. This is my understanding.
Thank you, Geetaji, for your perspective about death. So, we know the physical body dies and it is burnt or buried. But what can we practice now? So, whatever we are listening to Guruji's talks, that must be applied. Whatever is possible, to whatever level it is possible, we must apply to ourselves. So, what can have death in this particular life that we are living is the death of the ego. So the death of the mind, connecting everything to I. I am talking, I am answering, I am taking care of the children, the family people. Okay, I am working, I am doing the work at home, I am cooking. So all this, when it comes to the mind, every thought is connected with I. That is nothing but the ego. So the death of the ego is what we will have to take into consideration, because that which is far away, that is in the future, death is in the future. The body, death of the body is in the future. Why to think of that when we have been taught that be in the present, here and now? So here and now, what is it that we have on hand is the ego. Ego is nothing but how I am relating myself with each and every work, each and every thought, each and every action that I do, I take up. So that is how when we detach ourselves from at the thought level from activities, then whether it is physical death or the mental death, it doesn't affect us at all. So there, as Jayashree Madam said, there is no death for Atma. So it is the journey from one body to other, and it is just maybe like a train, railway station. Each station comes in, you just drop this body and move on to the another body or whatever it is. Maybe if you have done so much of punya and all the sadhana has been done, you can get liberation, you can get moksha. So this is some perspective about death. Now, what is, we will come to this talk as such, terminal illness case. That is titiksha at the time of death. Maybe I am sure that I'm going to die in a few months or few days to go. So how can I understand titiksha at that level? Is the question that has been that can be asked now. So, Jayashree Madam, how should we understand terminal illness case? How should we understand terminal illness case?
Birth or death are only small stops in the journey of life. When we take birth, death is definitely following it, and that is inevitable. The life is a continuous journey. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. So the cycle repeats. After death, you take another birth, and unless until you get self-realization, this cycle continues. Absolutely. Not
correct, sir. Yeah, correct, madam. So it's just a small stop. Okay, that is what has been told by Jayashree madam. Now, Vaishnavi ji, how do you understand birth and death? Vaishnavi ji? Are you there, Vaishnavi ji? Okay, Sudha ji, you can answer.
So how do we understand birth and death? So, I mean, from our normal perspective, birth is like you have come with a pattern, with some set, mentality, body, everything. And here you have given yourself some targets and you want to achieve them. The one common target for almost all human life is to be happy. And what gives happiness may differ from person to person. So some may feel that, oh, I'm not beautiful enough, I have to be more beautiful to be happy. Some may feel I have to be more powerful to be happy. It doesn't matter. What each one thinks will give them happiness is different. But happiness is the goal for all. But because we are trying to achieve happiness with a limited body, mind, and energy complex, you never attain the perfect happiness. There's always some shortcoming there. So then when you are dying, that will always be your last thought that, I did not get this. This was not fulfilled. There's always that last thought in you that, this was not fulfilled. And like Prabhuji says, you wake up in the next body wanting to fulfill that. So in this life, you'll have something else. So this is how birth goes on. Death will come. That is a definite certainty in everybody's life. So this birth and death, it goes on like this in a cycle because you are always having some unfulfilled desires, which, you seek to fulfill in the next life. So this is what I think of birth and death as.
Very well said, Sudha ji. Geeta ji. Vaishnavi ji, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm getting call, so this Zoom meeting got cut.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the question? I'm
No,
not sure if I
actually, the
lost the
same question was
context.
answered by Sudha ji. I just asked, how do you understand birth and death?
Ma'am, of late, what I've understood it is that it is a cycle, and that we've lived a million lives, and we are still in the same journey until the path of self-realization. But for me, to accept that, it has taken some time, because you don't see any correlation with what you've done in the past and what you're going through now, and you don't find any logic between why things happen, and why to me and why to somebody else. So that way it's a little difficult to understand birth and death. But of course, biologically, we all we age, and there are pathophysiologies to why we reach the point of death. But yes, ma'am, the fact that it is a cycle is what we've been brought up to understand and believe.
Who can tell? Geeta ji, the same question?
As per my understanding, the birth is a process again to experience a certain lesson. Okay, the soul designs in higher realms to learn certain lessons. So according to that, it plans up the particular life on this earth. So once the lesson's done, the particular lesson's done, then again the death process, the physical death, the body will perish, and again it will go on. So it is that birth and death is a continuous process for the evolution of the soul. Evolution of the soul.
Okay, thank you, Geetaji. Shwetaji, would you like to add?
No, ma'am, no idea. Like for me, it's a new
Okay,
learning.
okay.
Because
Okay.
we like it is you are born, you follow what your parents say, then you have some dreams, then you fulfill it, then you have kids, then you do that for them, and at last to finish for me. So this is all a new thing to come.
Okay, when you listen to the talk, maybe you will get the clarity. You
Yes.
need to listen to the
Yes.
talk, only then can you answer. So if it were to be
Yeah.
a general question, it is easy to answer, but this is something particular which is
Yeah.
beyond maybe the common generality.
Yeah.
Jayashree ma'am, birth and death, how do you understand? First question was only death. Now, connection between birth and death.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Here, I would like to say one thing, ma'am. The connection to the birth and death is a desire, ma'am. The strong desire leads to the birth. That point I missed, I believe. Yes.
So, if at all I am born, I don't have any desire, means will I die immediately?
No. As per the plan, actually, there is a time period for the every life. We have certain time period for every life. So till the time period happens, which is already decided in higher realm, till such time the body will be there. Okay, it will not go. And however, that we are going through certain trauma mentally and physically, and very much longing to leave the body. But till that time comes, this will be there on the earth.
Jayashree ma'am?
Yeah. I'm not able to understand the question, madam.
Okay.
You
There
mean
are...
why we take birth? Maybe it is to fulfill our past.
Your voice is, it goes off and comes loud. Maybe that...
Yeah. And net is not good.
Now
it is okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We take birth according to our previous lives thoughts, karma, and to fulfill that, a soul according to that vibration enters that body, and we take birth in that house. Something like that. I'm getting confused.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll ask you another next question. At the end of life, what is it that we have to do? What is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita? What is to be done? So how? Yes. So that means you must be reciting the name of the God. So how can that be explained? Is it that when we are already not in the senses or something, can we think of God at that moment? Or if it is very painful, there are many other situations wherein we cannot even know how to think of God, the name of the God. What can be done then? Sudhaji.
Continuously we have to do it.
Ma'am, Sudhaji will answer.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Your question is, when there is a sudden death, how can you remember God, which is a prescription of the Bhagavad Gita?
Sudden death, or maybe you're not conscious of your own death. Maybe terminal illness is something that has been taken up, right? So I am not aware, I am not conscious also. So how can it happen then? What is it that takes you further?
So that is why it is not possible suddenly in the last minute to remember God if you have not remembered Him every day in your life already from now. So you have to have good thoughts. Prabhuji says you have to have good thoughts. And good for us can only mean thoughts about God or Atma Jnana. That's all. So always remembering the essence about what is this life, for what you are born, why you will die, how it is all about the journey of consciousness. This is just consciousness. I is just consciousness. If we can just zero in on that idea, and if you have a personal God, if you love Rama or Krishna or someone, and it gives you peace to take their name when you're done with all your jobs and you're sitting down quietly, you can repeat their name quietly in your mind. Then I think that is all you can do, because like you said, no one knows when, how, what kind of death anyone will have. So it is better to start from today.
Yes, exactly. This is the answer that I wanted, because we cannot decide on when, or we cannot know when our death comes to us. It may be today, it may be in this moment, it may be 100, maybe 15 years later. But how can we know that this is the moment of our deaths? So for that, we will have to prepare. This is what is being told in this talk, that we should be prepared for our death each moment. The next moment we may not see. So here there is a relationship between the sleep and the death. Okay, so that means to say that each moment, each thought must be related to God. In Bhakti Marga, it is doing japa, thinking of God, or if it is in Advaita Vedanta, it may be self-inquiry. You, aham brahmasmi, sarvam khalvidam brahma. That is, I am Brahma, and everything else is nothing but Brahma. The whole thing is nothing but the consciousness that is being prevailing, is what is to be understood. So that means to say, it is not at the time, okay, now I am aged, maybe I am 70, 80 years, now I might die any time. So now let me start with japa, or maybe whatever it is, Om Namah Shivaya or Narayana, whatever, Rama, whatever. But it has to be from now and today. Whatever way, there is no restriction on what we have to do. There is freedom. In Sanatana Dharma, there is freedom. I can choose Rama, she can choose Hanumanta, she can choose Ishvara, anything. It can be Shiva. So anybody can take any god and do the japa, or a self-inquiry can be done as prescribed by Ramana Maharshi. Anything, you have the liberty to do that. So now comes, Vaishnavi, you can answer. Give the explanation of death with respect to sleep.
With respect to sleep?
Yes. What is sleep basically?
Sleep is the period of time when the conscious nature of our mind uh, is shut down, and we are not physically active, and our sense organs are also at rest. Um, and But death is a permanent state of lifelessness, and the sleep is a part of a cycle, the sleep wake cycle. But again, death is also part of a bigger life death cycle. But as far as a particular life period is concerned, death determines the end of that term.
So can you explain a little more on sleep?
This is all I could understand, ma'am.
Death is, madam, can I answer, ma'am?
Yes, yes, please.
Death is also like a sleep. Maybe in another body we wake up. Hello?
Your voice is little feeble, ma'am. Maybe if you can keep the speaker or the headphone or the mic near you, it will be audible. Sometimes it is very loud, sometimes it's very low.
Bluetooth I'm using.
Oh, okay. Anyway, let her connect again. By that time, let her answer that question. We will leave it to her. Geeta ji, how can we come out of this birth and death cycle?
It's a constant manana, ma'am. Going into doing our knowing the true essence of us. True essence of us is we are soul beings. So we are Sachidananda Swarupas. That realization has to come. Then there won't be any birth and death cycle.
Okay. So self-realization is what we will have to get to come out of this birth and death cycle. Jayashree ma'am, you can answer the question. It is whatever you wanted to answer, you can answer. Are you able to hear, Jayashree ma'am?
No, madam. The net is not good.
Now we are able to hear you.
The voice is clear, madam.
Yes, yes, very clear.
I shifted it to the mobile phone only.
You wanted to say something?
No, madam.
Death during sleep. The sleep and the death. How is it related?
Death is a long sleep, madam. As we wake up after sleep, after death we wake up in another body, in another form. That's all, madam.
What about sleep?
Sleep, that is only for the body, I think, madam. It is, we wake up next morning and we'll be as usual.
Yes, correctly said. So what sleeps during, what is not active during our sleep?
Our thoughts.
Thoughts, mind is sleeping. Correct. What is active during our sleep?
Breathing, madam.
Breathing is there, then?
Heartbeat.
Brain.
Brain.
Don't know, madam.
No, you have already said so many. You have told it correctly only.
Consciousness.
Yes. Then what else is active and what else is passive and what else is not working? Anybody can answer this.
Yeah, I would like to give my views, ma'am, on this.
Hmm.
During the sleep, our body organs, they function, okay, because of the regular autonomic nervous system. Through that, whatever the metabolic processes have to happen, it will continue. Okay, our heartbeat will happen, and rest of the things, the respiration will happen, as madam said, breathing will happen. What not is active is total body, that connection to our subconscious mind. The conscious mind is totally disconnected. Okay, and our subconscious mind, that is soul, is very active. This is what the difference between the sleep, as madam already said, death. She has given the correct statement, what I believe. And regarding the sleep, this is what. And as you rightly asked the question, what are the passive and active? So these are the things.
Yes, yes. So, Sudhaji, the question that was asked when you got disconnected is, what are all the factors that are active during sleep, and what are passive or not active during sleep? The same question got continued, and this was what was asked.
Okay. What is active during sleep and what is not active? I really don't know what is active during sleep. Maybe just for some time we have dreams. That is all, your subconscious mind playing out some of your vasanas in the form of dreams. But largely in sleep, what happens? Body is at rest. All your sense organs are at rest. The mind, which propels all sense organs, is also at rest. And in deep sleep, everything is just in the, like withdrawn into itself. You are actually, that is the one point in a time when you are the I, consciousness itself. That is the only time. So that consciousness is what is manifest at that time. Everything else is absent.
So you said many of the things maybe are not active, or maybe consciousness is the only thing that is active. Everything has stopped. The senses, you said, everything has stopped. But the next day morning, we get up, but still we are alive. We are not dead while sleeping, right? So what are all the things that are working?
Next day when you wake up, everything comes back immediately. Consciousness,
So everything had stopped, is it? Actually, Geeta ji answered this question. I'm just asking you because you did not hear her answer.
I missed it. Okay, maybe you can just tell me what was her answer.
No, it's okay. You tell. You try it out.
Okay. No, I'm not able to think of an
Okay,
answer.
fine then. Aren't you breathing during your sleep?
No.
You're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Your heartbeat, the blood circulation is happening. You're not aware of it. All the organs that are maybe digestion has to happen. If at all you've eaten something, that automatically happens. So all the internal organs will be working, but we are not aware of it, whether we are in sleep or whether we are in the waking state.
Yes, that is true.
So that means to say that we are alive even during sleep.
Yes.
But with the death, these things will have stopped.
Yes.
The functioning of the organs will have stopped because the prana is no more there. And the consciousness, as you said, that is at a higher level, that will not be anymore active.
Yes.
Not present in this particular body.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that is the difference between the death and
sleep. Yes, yes, correct.
Though we know, we cannot answer sometimes. It's not that we don't know.
Yes.
It doesn't flash to us at that particular moment.
Yes.
That's absolutely okay.
Yeah.
The next question is, there is a story of a girl and maybe two people in the hospital sitting, maybe sleeping. Vaishnavi ji, this is a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
With cancer. two people, one very young and one a little older. What is it that we can get from that particular story?
Ma'am, so this is how we approach even death. Uh, the way how with forbearance we must lead life. It is also pertinent that we look at death with the same equanimity. Um, in the girl's case, even though she is just 16 and she had no significant life experience, she realized very early that her mind was focused on the fact that death is one step that takes her closer and back to God. So she is quite equipoised, and she mentions that she's looking forward to it, which means that she has processed it well, and there is no fear, there is no agony, there is no fear of missing out anything in life. Even at that age, she understands that this is what is, we all have to get there, and for her it was for her time to get close and get back to God. But at the same time, unlike the other person who was much older, was much agitated, and unlike other people in the camp, uh, she did not show any fear or agony. And that is how
Yeah.
we approach life, even death.
See, this is one aspect. I am going back to God. I came from God. I am going back to God. This is something that is really told very well in this. From this story, we can know, and that wording is really good. What Guruji has used is, I am going back to God. From that story, we just don't visualize in that way. So I have come from God. I am going back to God. This is something we must have in our mind. Otherwise, even anybody who is no more also, we should think that they've come from wherever they're going back to wherever they've come from. So when we change the perspective, our grief reduces. How to handle grief is through all these scriptures. We don't need any counselors anymore. If we have known all these scriptures and these texts, we can handle ourselves, be it Bhagavad Gita or Tattvabodha, whatever. So we can handle ourselves emotionally well, and we can evolve easily. But we leave all this and go to the modernized, westernized aspects of healing oneself, which can be very temporary and very external, which is not in depth. It doesn't give solace to what is to the mind or to the body, and what is it is actually needed, we don't get from that. So I am going back to God is something that is really that is the punchline of that story. Because I died and I will move on to the next birth could have been an answer. But so confident that she is going back to the God is something really wonderful. Maybe I liked it so much that even we should think in that way. So we came from that God itself. We are God, and will be going toward to God, merging with God, maybe with liberation. So the whole process is the same. If we get that idea very well into our brains, then I think it's a smooth flow of life. And acceptance of death will be easy, whether it is ours or somebody else's. And another question is, Jayashri ma'am, that Nazi camp story is there. Can you please tell that?
Nazi camp. Yes, madam. This is small book written by Viktor Frank, and he was a doctor, I think. He was put in a Nazi camp where he was treating so many people, and all the people were very sad, except for one person who was very peaceful. So when he came, when he came to the doctor asked, "How is that you are very peaceful?" He said, "I believe in God, and I pray to Him, and
I ask him to take my life and spare the other people's life so that and stop the world war where so many lives will be spared. After listening my prayer, the God stopped the war, and I am happy now. And this is life. That is the story that was narrated in this talk, madam.
Very well said, Jayashree ma'am. That's what, when we get the answer to our question that the war will be stopped, as Jayashree ma'am said. So that is what he was service oriented, that he wants peace around him. Imagine the Nazi, that Second World War or First World War time, wherein it is a very bad situation, wherein we wouldn't have seen such thing at all. So that time, aspiring something good for somebody else, some people there, is something that is good in that particular person. That is how he was so peaceful that Jagat Hitayecha. Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitayecha. So Jagat Hita was what he was seeing. So that is how that story comes into a picture, wherein how our mind is, what we think, whether we are alive or whether at the verge of death. What is our thought process? What is our intention, basically? So that must be taken care of. That is what is being told by in this story. And this is something we will have to just not study from this and listen to this and leave off. We'll have to keep on thinking about this often as possible, so that our there is a clarity in the mind and we are purified in that way. So this is what we get from Tattvabodha through our Guruji. And the talk 14 ends with this story. That is terminal illness case. So whether we die at a later time or any time, how is it that we are going to take care of this present moment? How do we prepare for the death anytime that we may get, is what we'll have to think of. So balance of mind. Titiksha is what is being told. Balance of mind. There should be no raga dvesha, or there should be suffering is there, acceptance, ready acceptance. Happiness is there. You shouldn't be elated to a very high state wherein you're not normal. Balance with that also. And look everything with as Sakshi. These are all the things that has been given to us by Guruji in these two talks. And I think we can end this with the prayer. Vaishnavichi, will you do the ending prayer?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just look at the order.
Do you have any doubts or any clarifications that are to be done? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
No, anybody?
No, madam.
Geeta ji? Sudha ji?
No, continue. All good.
I don't have any doubt, but just I would like to reinforce what we have discussed yesterday and today is a part of Shat Sampatti. No, is a third Shat Sampatti.
Titiksha. Titiksha is Shat Sampatti. One among Shama, Dama.
It's a part of Shat Sampatti. So
yes.
we have to cover another three more.
Yes, yes. Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhana is left out. Shama is control of the mind. Dama is control of the senses. Then Titiksha is shock absorbers, that is balance of our mind, being always balanced. And next comes the other three. That is Shat Sampatti of Sadhana Chatushtaya. That is Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti and Mumukshutva. Those are the four things for Sadhana Chatushtaya. Sadhane, to do the sadhane, to go to get liberation, what are all the steps that are to be taken, or the sadhana that is to be done is the four. That is Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, then Mumukshutva. So in this Viveka we finished, Vairagya we finished. Then we are at the Shed Sampati. In that Shama, Dama, Titiksha. Shama is over. That is control of the mind. Dama is control of the senses. Now the Titiksha, that is the shock absorber.
Shock
How
absorber.
to have that balance of life, balance of the
Right.
mind.
Yeah. So this is related to the Antakarana Siddhi also. Like, this Shed Sampati, it parallelly, it is just popping in my mind. With Antakarana Siddhi, this Harished Vargas, what we have. So we have to balance with this Shed Sampati.
Yes, yes. See,
In our
emotional distress
day-to-day
or
life,
mind
we come
or
across
whatever.
so many, yeah.
Huh?
In day-to-day life, ma'am, small things will come up. Like, how really, we are balancing in that particular situation, how best way we could manage without losing our temper, without losing, our inner things. So this really helps. And the Shuddhi with works on our Antakarana Shuddhi. This is what I am thinking.
So, Dama is control of the sense organs. That is nothing but those are the things that create the desire. And from that, all these, maybe the emotions, anger, maybe fear, then sadness, grief, all those come into picture. So, that control was done with Shama. So, everything, Shet Sampati is nothing but how we maybe modify or transform ourselves is very important. Those things, maybe it is again connected with the mind. So mind is connected with the ego. What is ego? I want this, I want this, I want a car, I want a house. All these are nothing but desires. So I don't like this person. Whatever this person speaks, I like so much. So raga, dvesha comes into picture. So all these aspects must be balanced. That is what is Sitiksha. So the situations are given in such a way that it may be a struggle to us, or it may be a very happy situation to us. How do we have that balance in life is something that we need to experience that. It is not just practice, it is not just sadhana, but it has to be the same. So how do I look all those variations of our emotions, variations in the understanding of the thoughts, and variations in our senses? So all these can be balanced with understanding of titiksha and being a sakshi to everything and not getting attached.
Correct. Chitta Pragnatva.
So hope we can end this session with the prayer by Vaishnavi ji.
Yes, ma'am. Asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate ನಾನು ನಾನೆಂಬುದು ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಈ ದೇಹ ಮನಬುದ್ಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದಾತ್ಮ ಶಿವ ನಾನು ನಾನೇ ಶಿವೋಹಂ 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 ಆತ್ಮದರ್ಶನಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದರ್ಶನಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದರ್ಶನಂ ಸತ್ಯದರ್ಶನಂ ಅಂತರ್ಜ್ಯೋತಿಃ ಬಹಿರ್ಜ್ಯೋತಿಃ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಗ್ಜ್ಯೋತಿಃ ಪರಾತ್ಪರ ज्योतिरेव ज्योतिः लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु.
So we are at the end of this session, and next month we will have second Thursday and fourth Thursday. Hari Om all. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, madam. Thank you.
Hari Om.